Yes. This is Champ Franklin. Champ Franklin right here. Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, the podcast, redefining the conversations around intimacy in a world where conversations are seen superficial. We dive deep, exploring the layers of what it truly means to be intimate. This isn't just another love talk. It's a groundbreaking journey through intimacy, cognitive, emotional, sexual, and spiritual aspects. In each episode, we peel back the layers and myths and truths, engaging with experts, sharing real life stories, and uncovering insights that challenge everything you thought you knew about intimacy and closeness. Whether you're navigating the complexities of love, seeking deeper connections, or just curious about the unspoken intricacies of the human bond, Intimate Discoveries is your guide through the maze of modern relationships. Tune in as we unravel the secrets to truly meaningful connection. Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, where every episode is one step closer to you understanding meaningful relationships. Absolutely. We are absolutely getting it going. And thank you, everybody here, for coming on. I am your host, Champ Franklin, and we are going live. Thank you all so much. This is amazing, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful for another opportunity to bring you intimate discoveries, unveiling connections. And so, we always have the question as to how do we get intimacy wrong? What are we doing that is preventing us from actually experiencing long lasting and meaningful relationships? And so, again, if you're interested in coming on the show, we oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I am like having a great time right now. I get to invite individuals to come on the show. And if they're interested in having more conversation to see, because again, what we're going to look at tonight is the top 10 fears, frustrations, and desires that women have with men when it comes to emotional vulnerability. And so that's what we want to be able to look at. We're going to kind of go. I got a list. That I did research on, and so you'll be really fascinated with this list. And again, if you want to come on to the show, you can come on the show. You can come on right live. You can show yourself strong, and we can engage in the conversation, because this is Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, where every episode is one step closer to you. No, this ain't for, well, this is for me, but this episode is for you too, to help you to really come to a place where you experience a connection like never before. And what I've discovered is the formula to meaningful connection, or I should say, the linchpin to meaningful connection, to relationships where men begin to have connections like never before. A lot of my clients, they walk away knowing that they are that dude. When they go home and they're talking to their spouse or they're talking to their partner, they're like, you know what? I have the confidence that I gotten from Franklin, that I am that dude. I am the guy who can be there for you. I am the guy who can provide that safe space for you. I am that guy. And so you want to make sure that you're available. Come on onto the show, ask questions, and we'll see what we can do. Like I said, because I want you to be a part of the discussion, right? And so again, so let's look at here. Let's look at a few things, right? I've sent a couple people an invitation, so they may come. They may come. They may or may not come, but it's all right. But we're gonna be here. And so what we're looking at right now, the top 10. Let me see here. The top 10 frustrations, fears, and desires that women may experience with men and emotional connections. And so we're going to go down to number 10, right? Number 10, and look at that from that perspective, right? And so one of the frustrations that women have with men is incompatibility in long-term goals when it comes to emotional connections, right? These are some of their frustration that our long-term goals are incompatible, and I'm trying to dissect that one because when I look at the incompatibility and long-term goals, um, that's robbing the woman of an opportunity to really be to provide a safe space for a man. Because if you're frustrated with your partner, and when it comes to incompatibility and long-term goals, um I think this is an intimacy, a vulnerability robber, simply because um you don't know what's going to change tomorrow. You have no idea. You have no idea what revelation that person may get that will help you achieve your long-term goal, right? So we're not, he's may be happy with who he is and where life has taken him. And so when it comes to long-term goals, yes, there'll be some financial things that we want to look at. You want to make sure you have things in place, right? However, being frustrated with a partner, regarding the incompatibility of long-term goals, which you're talking about, watch this. You're talking about a long-term goal, which is 5 to 10 years from now, right? And you're sitting here frustrated about something that may not even happen 10 years from now, right? Something may come up and you can't be available for your partner right now because you're frustrated about a long-term goal that is 5 to 10 years away. And you're saying, you're saying that, oh, that's just judgmental, right? You're saying that your long-term goal is incompatible with my long-term goal. And so we really want to take the time to think about that. Why are you frustrated? Why are women frustrated about something that will never happen, right? See, the thing is that the person who determines whether the goal is compatible is you. So you have determined that what his goal, what his long-term goals are incompatible with yours, not realizing that while he's achieving his long-term goals, he is still having the ability to provide a safe space for you. He is still able to make sure um, that you are heard. He is still able to be there for you in your most vulnerable moments. He still can be there for you to support you on your accomplishments, right? So we want to be careful with that. We want to be careful on how we get to a space um, where we're feeling that we're incompatible with. Oh my gosh, my man Dorian is coming on board. Oh my gosh, come on, Dorian, unmute you right now. Dorian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. I'm here, brother.
Oh my gosh. Look out.
Round two, bro. We live
Round
in the red.
two. We are live and direct, man. Oh my gosh. What's going on with you?
Oh, bless, brother, man. It's been a very very emotional roller coaster as far as work has been. been facing a lot of challenges. Just and really actually good challenges, expanding my mind on knowing how
Okay.
to deal with stress. But my man, how you going? How you doing, brother?
Man, it's going absolutely fantastic. But let me. The thing is, for me, we can also take this moment, because Dorian is a young, motivated husband, father, doing great stuff, and he's on his journey. And so, what I'm looking at is, you just told me that, you're getting having a little stress about work and stuff like that, right? And so, if you can dive in a little bit about that, um, if you want help, or my you want one of my answers, right? I can share with you some of my answers, and if they work for you, then you can have them,
Yeah, yeah. No, I could
right?
definitely share. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So I've been dealing with a customer. So I don't know if I ever shared, but I'm an international salesman. So
Okay.
I handle all international shipments coming from ports, from foreign countries
Hmm.
being shipped into the U.S. or exports, anything that is coming out of the U.S. going to a different country.
Got it.
And
Logistics.
yeah, the logistics.
Hmm.
And I have this customer that's been kind of tough. They have a shipment that's in China, and I don't know if you know, but there's a around this time every year
Hmm.
they do a Chinese New Year.
Right.
Well, they pretty much take all the workers and they take off like 3 weeks,
Hmm.
just to give everybody a break. And
Hmm.
long story short, um, production on the shipper side in Vietnam, his team was really pushing and putting off production until now, and now everybody's kind of like go 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 go. But however, TQL, my company, has a policy that we have to follow,
Hmm.
which there's paperwork involved, and whenever we don't have the right people uh, on file for things,
Right.
that can slow down the process. So, long story short, I have been literally since probably Tuesday. I've been every day, from sun up to sundown, having to kind of just deal with the issues that are coming along with that. And
Hmm.
really, there's not much that I can do as far as speeding up the process for my company because we
Right.
have to have our proper paperwork involved. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what I am hearing, is that there are things that are happening outside of your control,
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
and
Yep.
you're doing damage control on both the in Vietnam and China and your customer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Correct.
so, and in this, and sometimes it causes a little bit of stress because you got to go email and follow up and all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what I would say, is, do not deviate from the process.
Absolutely.
Do not deviate from the process. Do not, um, try and get creative in these situations. Right.
Right.
And what do I mean by that, right? Let me see if I can, and if I can change this or fix this or change, whatever. Maybe if I can call this person. If you have a back door to help that can speed stuff up, then by means do that. Because you want to make sure that the customer is taken care of. At the same time, this is the whole China.
Right.
Sir, what I would do is, just just follow up, continuously following up with your customers, and, hey, I'm still tracking. I've been in contact with these individuals are here. We know that we got 2 or 3 days, before the holiday is over, and, we'll and I'll keep you posted to make sure that everybody is tracking.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
and huh?
and that's literally, well, that's literally been my thing is that's what, as far as on TQL on my company side,
Hmm.
um we have so much proof behind, because I have followed up in emails. I have
Mhm.
the calls to show that I am constantly keeping the customer.
Mhm.
I'm getting updates from the shipper.
Right.
um I am in constant update with them. Immediately from the first email that they send, I am responding, I am
Right.
answering, and if I don't have the answer, I'm letting them know I'm reaching out to my supervisor, get the answer,
Right.
and give
Good
it right
stuff.
back to
Good
them.
job, man. Good job, man. You that is absolutely phenomenal, man. You're doing a great job. When what I heard is not being the senior person with the secret.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you understand what that means?
Yeah, like not hiding or running away from the conflict, but just being open and honest from regardless of how painful it may be to have to tell the truth honestly.
Absolutely. And so not being the senior person with the secret, if let's say we know that the shipment is going to be late, right? And you know today, and you're waiting, you're hoping that it's going to be done on Friday. But
Mm-hmm.
you know on Tuesday that it's a possibility that it's going to happen on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're keeping a secret from your boss, because it really is going to land on Saturday, which he's going to be disappointed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but you're hoping that okay, on Friday, it hopefully it'll get here by Friday afternoon, right?
Yep.
And that's being the senior person with the secret, because you had the secret 2, 3 days ago, but you didn't tell them. You didn't keep them informed of what was going on. Now, if it comes in on Friday, oh, bless God.
Right.
But I told him what the expectation was, and I said, and I hear in your tone, and things that you're doing a great job, man. And I'm extremely proud of you, man.
Thank
I'm
you. I
extremely
appreciate
proud of
that.
you. So let me see what I'm looking at. Tell me, things with me are going well. I'm out now, pushing out to the high schools, and getting more locked in with their speaking engagements and stuff like that. And so, and I'm doing excellent. I'm very proud of myself, for staying committed to the podcast. This is episode 20, right? This,
Yeah, come on.
right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, we got episode 20 right
Let's
here.
go. Let's go.
That's it. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. You can stop. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, cut out all that capping. Amen. Yes. No, but listen. So what we wanted to talk about today, was we're looking at the top 10 frustrations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 frustrations, fears, and desires that women experience with men and emotional connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm on the top, on down at number 10. The one of the frustrations that women have is incompatibility in long-term goals. So we're looking at long-term goals, and your long-term goals are not meeting up with my long-term goals. They're not aligning up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see that, or how would you handle something like this?
Well, knowing from what I know now, I would say, especially if she's expressing that, when we're realizing that both of our long term goals look completely different from each other, um, I wanna know from her side, um, what is it that, first of all, like how can we find a way to, accept that it's okay for us, not necessarily everything we do in life looks exactly the same. Like, you're a human being, and you have goals and dreams that you want to do. And as a man, it's my job to not just say, well, screw your dreams, it's about mine, let's just do what I got to do. It's about also trying to figure out how to make her dreams become a reality, and we, instead of fighting each other, we learn how to connect with each other on, okay, so how can we make that a reality for you, and not just me focusing on my goals but also showing her that I value her goals as well.
Okay. So when we talk about incompatibility, right? We're talking, if you look at um uh a an Asian plug, right? With an American plug, right? Those are incompatible um plugs, right?
Hmm.
Because the frequency or the hertz are different in the US, 120, and then I think they have 250, 240, I think, in Japan. And
Hmm.
so the plugs are different, right? And so they're
Right.
incompatible, right?
Right.
So looking at long-term goals and being incompatible, I think another way to approach this would be to ask her, are your goals more important than my goals?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Right? Because if you if let's say that we make sure that your goals are are achieved, right? The long-term goals that you have are achieved. Would you
Hmm.
be happy with that?
Oh, no question, I
No,
think anybody would.
right, but that's what I'm saying. That's but the thing is, we gotta eliminate or reduce this frustration that she is having right now. But you gotta come up with the solution.
Hmm.
You got to come up with the way in which, because we're back down here in this safe zone, right?
Hmm.
You got to help her to feel safe,
Yep.
and in this particular place, right? And when you're able to help her to feel safe, you know what happens, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
You begin to help her to feel a sense of loving and belonging,
Hmm.
right? Because let me show here. So the other, we got the frustration and then the fear is a diverging path and incompatibility in the future, right? So what their fear is, right? So their fear is they're fearful that down the road, 10 years down the road, that our paths are going to diverge and we're going to grow apart, right?
Hmm.
And so the thing that we want to, and their desire, what they truly want is alignment and long-term goals and aspirations.
Hmm.
And so the fears and frustrations are really hiding that person, that space of vulnerability where they can just say, hey baby, I just want to make sure that we're in alignment,
Hmm.
that my goals, again, it's not like they're side by side, right?
Right. Right.
That they're in alignment, right? So here we are trying to we're trying to work on compatibility when we truly need just to be in alignment. Like my goal is right behind your goal, and my goal is lined up with your goals, right?
Right.
But you see where that providing that safe space for her could then foster that her to be able to really say, baby, I just want them to be in alignment.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, for anybody, I think the conversation that I've had with my sponsor is that we can't control what another person, especially as a woman, there's not, we can be doing, or at least feeling like we're doing everything right.
Hold on. I have a VIP on my Facebook page. I would just want to give a shout out to
Okay.
Captain Roger Clayton, retired naval officer, right here. So captain's on board. You gotta,
Oh man, thank you for serving our country.
yeah. Thank you, sir. We still always attention on deck. Always, always, always. So, so right now we're in our podcast. We're doing our thing, and just want to say thank you for stopping in. We really do appreciate it. And so, intimate discoveries. is Intimate Discoveries. Unveiling Connection is the podcast that's redefining a conversation around intimacy, and we're helping men to and couples, individuals, to be able to understand the importance of providing that safe space for your partner, and that the when we looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where we know that men are programmed to being providers and protectors, what we have found out is that there is more to a man than just being a provider and protector. He also have feelings. He also have emotions, and he also have the need to feel a sense of loving and belonging. And he needs a safe space where he can be vulnerable and be able to tell those truths and share those fears, frustrations, and things of that nature, and pass wherever he's feeling and triggers and stuff like that. And so that's why we have this podcast now, because I was when I went, I'm now divorced, and when I look back through my marriage, and I discovered that what I did not have was a safe space. At the same time, I believed that I was winning, and she couldn't get to me because I'm focused. I'm thinking that I'm winning. I'm doing great stuff. I'm did done tours on the ship. I've gone from E1 to O4, and things are just going well. Black guy with two masters degrees. That's like big time, right? And so but I found out that I was missing this component where I could speak my truth and my truth be okay. I didn't feel like I had that. And so I want to make sure that men coming behind me now understand the importance that you have to have a space that your partner needs to be able to provide to you, where you can feel safe and tell your truth, and your truth be okay. And then on the reciprocity part, on the reciprocal part, that you have to provide a safe space for your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, your children. Provide that safe space for them so that they can actually feel a sense of loving and belonging. And in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's physiological needs, safety need, and then the feeling of loving and belonging. And you cannot skip the safety need. And that's why we have this podcast, to understand that vulnerability is the birthplace for intimate connections. And when you cannot be vulnerable, you cannot have an intimate connection. And so I got my guy on here, who's doing great work. He's a young man, who's on the show today, and sharing his journey and getting nuggets from me, and learning more about intimacy. And so we'll continue on with the discussion. If you want to chime in, you have a question, we can pop it in. But definitely want to say thank you, sir, for coming in. And we're great. And so going back to you, man. Um, let
Oh
me
yeah,
yeah, going back to you. Absolutely.
yeah. So
Sorry.
one of the things that since you brought this in your talk, kind of explaining that, is that I think we talked about this before, was that as men we have to, when we're quiet about, like, I've learned over the years. I'm be honest, I can't talk like I've got 20 years of experience in this, but what I'm learning now, I can share, because I'm starting to see the
Hmm.
progress. Is knowing how to properly articulate my emotions and what it is that I need, and what it is that I want, and not making it come out in a way of that I am like this giant, this giant monster that's just hovering over my wife. And so when we're talking about
Thank you, sir.
the decision of, well, her goals versus your goals and the long term goals, is that understanding that we both, I feel like, in my understanding, is that we have to be a team, and asking each other, because obviously, yes, 10 years down the line, nobody knows what life is going to be like. And spend I can't allow 10 years from now to dictate, like, as far as positivity on what our marriage is going to look like. And so I can't speak to the 10-year version of Dorian. I can envision it, but I still have to do the work. And so I should be making my wife feel comfortable by asking her, well, okay, if those are your long term goals, or you feel that I don't know where our marriage is going to be in the next 10 years. Listening to her emotions and how she feels about things, it's probably an indicator that, I mean, if she says 10 years from down the line, I don't know if our marriage is going to be where it needs to be. Because I ignored those signs when, my wife was telling me, I feel like, there's times you don't allow me to share things, or you're
Mhm.
suppressed. You would, when you're angry and upset, you withdraw from everybody, and then when I'm trying to talk to you about something, you get angry, right? And it wasn't even my anger, most of the time wasn't even because of her. you know it was
Mhm.
because of something that happened at work, or I was mad at this person. And
Right.
so she's seeing the pattern, and when it's happening over and over, and she's went years and years of going through this, she's like, I don't know if we're gonna be together that long. But when I had to take the mindset of, if I want change, I'm going to have to stop doing things the way that I'm doing them now. And it was as simple as, for me, was just asking her, okay, what is
Right.
it that you need from me? And
Uh-huh.
then started realizing the things that I needed to change in myself, and not just for the better of her, but for the better of myself.
Right. So let me so on my refrigerator I have a feelings wheel,
Hmm.
right? And so you were talking about you being mad, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
when you're mad, um you take it out, or you go and withdraw from people, and you're not available, right?
Hmm.
Emotionally, right? And so what I want you to do, I want you to get this feelings wheel, because there are
I actually
times
have one
when,
now.
oh, you have one now, you downloaded. Oh my God, I'm absolutely proud of you, man. Thank you. So now when you look at mad, right,
Hmm.
I want you to go further and say, you know what, I'm just irritated, or I'm just skeptical, or I'm frustrated. Maybe I ain't mad, I'm just frustrated.
Hmm.
Right. So now you don't you because she know what the mad behavior looks like. She know what happens when you get mad. And you're
Hmm.
like, baby, I'm not mad right now. And so now you can change your approach, right?
Yep.
Right. So now that you're not mad, you can still be jealous of that situation, right? Or you can be selfish, or you can be frustrated with that situation, but you can allow that to process out, right?
Yep.
And then she give you a safe space for you to process that frustration, that selfish, or whatever it was, right?
Hmm.
And then now that is gone, right?
Yep.
And
Because
now
I
you can go ahead.
because I was easy, and one of the things that I've done, like, just in my self inventory, that I realized I've always been very good at creating a space for her. So if she, for instance, if she expressed to me that, I don't feel like my voice is being heard, which that a few years ago,
Mm,
that was her conversation. For some
mm,
reason, it was easy to just go, okay, make the adjustment. And I'd make the adjustment. I start studying, why am I not listening to her? What is causing me not to listen to her? And it was easy to make those adjustments. But I was taught that it wasn't okay to cry. It wasn't okay to talk about your problems, because that's not man like. So
mhm.
it's that natural thing as a man to just bottle all of it down. And then when the time is right, because of the people you love, even though you unintentionally don't want to do it to them, but you do it anyways, because
Right.
we don't know how to properly articulate our emotions. I know I didn't. I'm still, this is a practice. This is something that I'm having to actively, like, the other
Right.
day, talking to my wife about how stressed I was about work. And
Mhm.
I was stuttering all over the place because I never had to use that muscle. I never, when I came home, she's like, how was your day? And usually I come in and it's like, oh, it was fine. Then my daughter wants to run up to me and play with me. And then all of a sudden I just blow up. But in
Mm-hmm.
this time, I was like, came home, I grabbed my daughter and I embraced the love. And she was like, you okay? How, like you all right? And I couldn't even get a word out because I was having a hard time articulating my emotions because
Mm-hmm.
that's not a muscle that I've used. Because again, you open up about your situation or anything, you feel like she's gonna see you as weak or the world's gonna see you as a weak man. So just keep your mouth closed and just deal with it on your
Right.
own kind of
Right.
thing.
So let's I'm gonna back up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the first part I'm gonna back up with is being able to separate what happens at work from the story that you tell about what happens at work.
Mm-hmm.
Because if what happened at work happened, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to come home with the stories about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean by that?
So let me clarify. So even if it's something that is still affecting you, you're supposed to just let that. I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding. You just let that supposed to reside and deal with it and solve that at work.
No, you accept that what happened at work happened,
Right.
right?
Right.
And now because now when you're able to separate the story that you're saying about what happened,
Mm-hmm.
that story that you're saying about what happened is creating this feeling in you
Yeah.
about what happened that is already it's over. It's
Right.
already over. Nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So when I come home, right, I'm not going to tell the story about what happened in a way that affects me, that I'm now frustrated and I'm still I can't collect a unique moment with my daughter. I can't collect a unique moment with my spouse,
Right. Right.
right? Because I'm still saying these stories
Yep.
that that you can't really control,
Yep.
right?
One hundred.
And then here's the other part, right? That I really want you to be able to do, because this is going to prepare you down the road. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, this is like one of the best experiences I begin to have now, right? That I didn't know existed, right? So when you get the feelings wheel, right, and you're like frustrated or whatever, and you take the feelings wheel, and you like, I'm not, I put this experience in the wrong folder.
Yep. Yep.
Right, I put this in the mad folder, and actually, I'm scared. I'm scared I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm scared that I'm gonna lose my job. Da, 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 whatever it is, right?
Yep.
So now you have properly assigned that experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and now you have a moment that you can connect when your daughter comes to you in a moment that she's feeling discouraged, right? Because you sat down today and properly assigned this experience to discouraged,
Yep.
right? Because again, you again looking at the thing from China, right? And China, their holidays and stuff like that, and you're thinking that you're not feeling as positive that because the um the shipment is going to happen on time, so you're feeling discouraged, right?
Yep.
Right, that you're going to miss something, right? But
Yep.
now, because you align this moment with being discouraged instead of in the sad folder, right? In the sad files, right?
Yep.
Now you have that moment, right? Where you're expanding your emotional vocabulary.
Yep.
You're expanding your emotional vocabulary. And now, when you provide that safe space for your wife, when you provide that safe space for your daughter, when you provide a safe space for your friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to connect.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, I'm talking about this is, I can say for me, I didn't start living right until I expanded my emotional vocabulary, because now I can be on the phone with somebody and I can hear them saying that they're feeling this or they're, and then all of a sudden I get an internal connection
Yo.
that is so profound that causes you to be supportive.
Yep.
It causes you to be supportive and encouraging to that person, to let them know that you can get through this. I'm here to help you if you have any questions. Da, 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 da. And then
Yep.
you walk away like, oh my gosh, right?
I did that in that same scenario. I had a
Thank you,
situation
sir.
with
Hmm.
my brother. Um, you know, we were kind of me and him had kind of took a separation for a while, because we were kind of going on two different journeys for a little bit, and we came back together and we were talking, and this was about how we felt about what was going on and how everything had happened when I had mentioned about my whole choices with stepping out on my marriage and all that
Hmm.
stuff, and how he felt about it. And he had realized what was crazy for him is, like, after talking with me, he was like, man, I don't know what it is about you, but, like, it's almost like you are in tune with who you are as a person. Like, I haven't seen that. And I was telling him, because he was acting, when he was talking to me, he was talking to me out of anger and out of
Mm.
frustration and all of that. And I was like, for me, I was like, man, I am so sorry that I did not listen
Hmm.
to, and I was speaking directly to that situation. So I wasn't, the old me would go, well, he matching anger issue, so I'm just gonna match the same thing. And it had nothing to do with that, because now I have the emotional intelligence, at least at that level, to be able to process that situation along with him. And he felt so much better that he had a safe space to
Mm. Yeah.
express his emotions, and not me start defending myself and feeling like I got to defend what I did and defend this. It was like, no, I have the emotional capacity now to deal. Yes, you are frustrated, you're angry, and I have the capacity now to be able to sit here and allow you the space to express whatever it is, long as you're not calling me out of my name, but
Right.
express how frustrated you are. And
Hmm.
when you're done talking, I just go in a soft voice, going, man, I'm so sorry, man. I
Right.
apologize that I did not listen or did not adhere to how you were feeling in that moment. I chose my way because of whatever A, B, or C. And so we were able to do that, all
Right.
because now I'm learning how to articulate my emotions and not just look at it when somebody's addressing me about something. Yeah, come on. Uh addressing me about something, and
Thank you, man. I'm just giving you claps and applauding you for your journey and your strength. I'm exceedingly proud of you, and I think you can probably sense that I'm a little melancholy now, right?
mhm,
And the reason that I'm feeling this way is I just been blessed. I've been blessed by a comment um, by a comment from the captain. It says, "I'm proud of you." And I remember there was a moment when those words were far from him,
mm,
and he says, "I'm proud of you." And to hear that, to see that documented from him, um, is releasing, it's refreshing, it is it's freeing
Yeah.
because he was one guy, he was a person on my job that I wanted to emulate. He's a guy that I looked up to who achieved a rank that a lot of African American men don't make it, right?
Yeah.
And he was a very fine officer, gentleman, leader. He was that and wise, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, I was young lieutenant, junior grade, young lieutenant, who found himself in a unique situation, and I didn't know how to navigate through that. But now I'm here, push through, and this is part of my story of being resilient, and really learning. So,
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
yeah. So, um, but yeah. All right. So we looked at anything else.
No, 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 no. I think we good on that particular situation.
Right, right, right. And so being able to align um those dreams, and again, the part that we have to be able to look at is how do we keep the conversation with where we are right now and what's our next move that keeps us together, right?
Yeah.
That we can keep those lines of communication open, right?
Yep.
And so I think talking about that closes that in and brings that to a good part. And so we're going from number 10 to number 9, right? About a frustration, right? Frustration and fear, right? And one of the frustrations that women have with men when it comes to emotional connections is their partner's lack of effort in maintaining intimacy, right? That's their
Yeah.
frustration. And then their fear is diminishing intimacy over time, that over time that their intimacy or sexual intimacy in this particular case diminishes over time. And so what do you what feedback or what idea do you think about when when you hear that your partner can be frustrated with your lack of intimacy or your effort?
Uh, this one's still fresh for me. So it brings up sadness for me because, um, for a long time, man, and I wouldn't even say that our intimacy could be definitely be better,
Hmm.
because I'm coming from a place of I done so much wrong, and now I don't want to do anything that will jeopardize her. Almost put myself in a box to where I'm trying to be perfect. I don't want to upset her. I don't want to do any of that. But because I'm holding on to this level of perfection,
Hmm.
um, it it really started to kind of like put us in a space of where, we're sitting on the couch, and like we're both sitting on two different sides of the couch. Now keep in
Mm.
mind we have a big couch, but I'm thinking in my mind, I'm pretty sure she may or may not be thinking about it in her mind,
Mm.
but I know in my mind I'm thinking,
Why she always
"Wh-
over there?
why no, I'm no in my mind I'm like, why am I way over here and she's way
Right,
over there?"
right, right,
And
right,
I'm
right.
like, I have to I have to force myself to put myself in a situation where I move closer to her, and I
Right.
see, even if it's not even if it's a small touch, or
Mhm.
just legitimately sitting on the side of her, like, yeah, I would love to kick my legs up like she's kicking her legs up, and I
Mhm.
don't want to just have my
Right.
feet on the floor. But
Mhm.
however, I need to be close to my wife, and it's been those small increments like that that I've realized that I'm just being real. Like,
Mhm.
it literally legitimately arouses the both of us, because I'm around, I'm close to you. You feel, and you get a chance to feel my heartbeat. You get a
Mhm.
chance to feel where I am. And for so many years, I used to want to stay far away because I wasn't doing the right things. I was
Right.
making bad choices. And
Mhm.
so if she got too close, she could hear how my heartbeat was beating and she could be like, something ain't right. Okay, yo,
Mm.
you got an irregular heartbeat going on. You come from one moment you was cool,
Yeah.
and then the next minute your heart
Right.
your heart get to beating too fast. So man, I would say that this is something that I'm still learning how to practice and putting into practice of taking that time, that extra minute in the morning,
Mhm.
and instead of just jumping out of the bed like, hey babe, like I'm going spend time with God, doing all these things, and she's very glad for that. But
Mhm.
taking the time to rub her back and saying, "Hey, babe, I'm about to get ready to get up here in just a little bit. I just want to acknowledge to you that I'm still in the bed." And those little things like that make her. She's telling me those things make me feel
Mhm.
like I'm the biggest part of your world.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And those things are really important. What about when it comes to like asking her if there's anything you want to share?
Yeah, that last conversation we had on that, it made me kind of pay attention to that more.
Mhm.
Um, and we had a situation that came up like that, which was actually last Wednesday. So she goes, we're both in like Celebrate Recovery,
Mhm.
and so she does her what we call 12-step program on Wednesdays. So I came home, and I mean immediately when I came home, like my daughter must have like just recently did something. um and so I came home, my daughter ran up to me, but like you could just like feel, I'm like, something's wrong. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, my daughter's happy. I know she's happy, but she comes out of the room and has this like, I'm ready to blow the world up face on her,
Mhm.
on her. And so I don't like push myself on her, but and I let her sit down, and gave her a kiss, and I said, hey babe, just check in, see how was your day. And she was like, oh, it was good. And I said, okay, well, how you feeling? And she was like, I'm good. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so how are you feeling mentally and emotionally right now?
Mhm. Right.
And when I said that, she was like,
Mhm.
I'm just upset because I mean
Right.
immediately was like, I'm just upset because Everly, I don't remember exactly what she did. My daughter had done something and it
Mhm.
made her mad. Um, but it took a minute, and I just told her, I said, well, okay. I was like, hey, well, I know you may not want to talk about it right now, and that's fine. But hey, when you're ready to talk, you got my undivided attention. I don't care what it
Mhm.
is that I'm doing. Just say, hey,
Right.
babe, I'm ready to share. And that was when she just spilled the whole thing. And so just just saying to that point is asking her, but not overly asking. It's like, ask that one time, like, hey,
Mhm.
are you okay? How you doing emotional? How you doing? Okay, well, if everything's cool, if everything's okay, then I'm gonna go back to me and
Right.
my daughter running around the
Right.
house.
Absolutely.
And when you say,
Absolutely.
okay, babe, yeah, I'm ready to talk. Okay, Evie, hey, look, mommy needs to talk to daddy. Let's calm down. Let's
Mhm.
see what mommy needs to talk about.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's a learned behavior. You
It's
that's
tough.
something- that is a learned behavior because it goes against everything that you've been taught about taking care of your spouse,
Yeah.
right? And so the other tool that we talked about was, are you in your best space, right? You
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
And so when she like, I'm good, well, are you in your best space?
Mm-hmm.
What is there anything I can do to get you to your best space?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And creating those moments, right? I had a friend who was sick over the last week, right? And was still sick today. And I'm like, hey, is there anything I can do? Oh no, no, Frank, there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. I'm like, is there anything I can do to get you to your best space? And they were like, no, not really, no. I said, you know what? What about some soup? I can get you some soup, right?
Mm.
So DoorDash was there, right?
Yeah.
And hey, you got some soup coming. And they were like, oh my God, Frank, thank you so much. This is like, oh my gosh. This just brought a smile to my face.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that was cool. That was then and that but that was collecting that unique moment. I'm just thankful that I now am able to also not only have the kindness that extend, right?
Hmm.
But also having that emotional connection
Yeah.
that comes with that experience.
Yeah. That's good.
And that's the dopeness that I want you to have and continue to experience. And so yeah, so we talked about now. Let's just we're gonna stop at what did we see at number 9, right?
Yeah.
Because again the fear of diminishing um intimacy over time, and so the desire that is being hidden is that they want consistent effort and maintain intimacy. And so that's that um that's that seeking your partner's unique intimate expression.
Yeah.
And so as it goes deeper, you begin to continue to be fascinated about her unique intimate expression,
Right.
right? And the other part is, let's say that you begin to let today we're gonna do discovery,
Yeah.
right? And I know you got 14 arousal zones. Let's see how those work, right?
Yeah.
Let's see how you feel, again when I touch your back. But the thing is that you have to be close to the dean's list on your assignments,
Yeah. Completing them
right?
assignments.
You had to complete those assignments, because if you got incomplete work that isn't, because again that isn't done at home. And so when you go to work, all of you things you turn into your boss is exactly what they want,
Hmm.
right? But then when you get home, you do half work, or we do half work, and they supposed to just suck it up. And that's something that we could do better in,
I agree.
because when you at least got to get a B, man. At least get on the B honor roll,
Yeah. Right. Right.
right? But just with two things on your list, because again, we're not aiming for perfection.
Right.
But you can at least get to 90%,
Right.
right? And 90% means that you have one thing on your list, and it shouldn't take you, this elite guy, more than 1 hour to close out what she need done.
Yep.
It's something you can do if you take your your great idea out of the equation and get the assignment done the way it's required. They'll be happy to see you,
Yep.
and you'll become what we call a high reliable partner,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Not just being a reliable, you come through at 10 o'clock. No, I want to know that you are a high reliable partner. That I know that you're coming down the street at 74 at 44 miles an hour,
Yep.
and the speed limit is 45. That you're coming in. I don't have to be concerned about you going off of what we're looking at, or off the path,
Yep. Speeding and all that.
speeding and all of that, getting us, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to get to. And this is, if once you understand this part, right? Where, and again, it's, remember, intimacy. Let's make sure we get the definition of intimacy on here. Intimacy is defined as a level of commitment, positive, affective, cognitive, and physical closeness that one experience with a partner in a reciprocal relationship.
Yep.
There are four types of intimacy: cognitive intimacy, which is just sharing thoughts one with another. Emotional intimacy is sharing feelings and emotion, which is rooted in self disclosure. And then there's sexual intimacy, which is being attracted to someone and choosing to share your body in the form of affection and sexual activities. And then there's spiritual intimacy, which is just sharing thoughts about religion and morality. And we know in all four of those levels of intimacy that vulnerability is the birthplace where that occurs. And if your partner can't be vulnerable, right? And one or they can't be vulnerable, then they can't you can't have an intimate exchange. You can't have a reciprocal exchange. And it's important for us to understand that.
And
And so go
if I
ahead. What you say?
if I could say, and I think you we said this last week, we we have to, in order to even start being able to start understanding how this works, is that you have to be able to have at least starting the journey of learning about emotional, like having emotional, like building your emotional capacity, emotional intelligence. Because if not, I feel like, especially the old me, like, yes, I worked hard. Yes, I spent time, and I growed. All that stuff. I was still growing as a person, even when I was making bad decisions, but I
Hmm.
wasn't growing in the right directions. It was like being a shot. I was shooting with a shotgun instead of being a sniper. And when I started realizing that, okay, so your expansion is way too broad. It is time for you to learn how to become more strategic on the areas that you need to grow on. And that thing was, is every time I looked around, was my emotional connection with myself
Hmm.
and how I feel about things. And because going to my wife, and she, like I said, anytime she'd say anything to me, I'd get on it immediately.
Hmm.
But then
Right.
when someone would ask me, "Hey, Dora, like, you're a great husband, man. You're a great father, all those great things. So what do you want in life?" And I would go, you know, uh, man, just want to see my family grow. I would deflect back off of me, instead
Right.
of just saying, like, I don't know. I don't really
Right.
know what I want, which is, those are the things of the start of
Hmm.
being able to connect with yourself internally. Because if you keep going around and making everybody think that just this you're just this monster of a man that could just conquer everything. But then when you come home, you're scared to look at your own shadow. That's
Right.
pretty much you're lying to yourself, and you're
Right.
lying to the world. And that was what my
Absolutely.
sponsor had to tell me. And
Hmm.
as hurtful as that was, is, I man, my pride rose up in me, man, 6 times. Like, it was like, how dare you tell me that I'm lying to the world, and you don't understand all the hard work I've done and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have the receipts,
Mm.
the work you've done. You
Hmm.
are a hard worker, and everyone can see that. But the problem is that your wife cannot go back in the portfolio and go back to a time where she was like, I remember on January the 30th at
Hmm.
this time,
Come on now.
I seen Dorian cry, or I seen him be vulnerable. And this version of Dorian today, she's still learning it. She's still getting used to the fact that Dorian knows how to talk in a softer tone when it's needed. That Dorian doesn't need to be so over the top with his kid, that she's still learning that. She'll still come to me about some things, and she's
Hmm.
talking to me, and she's kind of timid about it. I'm like, no, 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 no. Don't be timid with me. You have, what is your question? How do you
Right.
feel? And let's sit down
Hmm.
and talk about that. But it all starts, like you were saying from the beginning, of having the mindset of you want to change, and it's going to start with you being honest with yourself and being okay with saying, I don't know how those feelings feel. i
Right.
never i never had the space to feel those feelings, so that now someone can help you and help
Hmm.
you navigate and break those cycles of just suppressing feelings, or just being angry, and flipping out about everything.
Beautiful. I'm thankful, man. You're definitely on it, man. And I appreciate you coming on the show again, sharing good knowledge, sharing your experiences, being vulnerable, on your way to greatness. And we appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Um,
I appreciate you too, champ.
yeah, man, I appreciate that. And so, as always, like I say, I'm here Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 o'clock. Feel free to come on, and if there's someone here, you can feel free to chime in, and we can do popcorn, and you can learn more, or you can just sit back and listen. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
yeah. So, but again, thank you so much. We're gonna close out the show, and as like I said, always, is there anything else you want to share?
No, sir. That is it, man. I just thank you for creating this podcast, and again creating a safe space uh, for others. I know your journey has been challenging, like all of us, but your story is still valid and important, regardless of how deep someone else's story is. All of us play a role in seeing each other grow. And so I appreciate you for allowing us to be able to come on here and to be real and just talk, be raw, and talk about the things that we struggle with. And you come to us and allow us to have that with open arms, and not looking to judge, but to challenge us, and men and women, to see whether patterns of the lack of knowledge and just the lack of understanding of their emotions. So I really
Hmm.
appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, man. And again, I appreciate that. That is just claps for you, man. We just applaud you. Appreciate that. So here we go. We get ready to close it out. Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, the podcast that is redefining the conversation around what it means to be close. In a world where conversations often feel superficial, we dive deep, exploring the layers of what it truly means to be connected. And oh my gosh, this is my jam, my part right here. It just isn't just another love talk. It's a groundbreaking journey through intimacy's cognitive, emotional, sexual, and spiritual aspects. In each episode, we dive deep. We peel back layers of myths and truth, engaging with experts, sharing real life stories, and uncovering insights that challenge everything you thought you knew about closeness and relationships. So, whether you're navigating the complexities of love, seeking deeper connections, or just curious about the unspoken intricacies of human bonds, Intimate Discoveries is your guide through the maze of modern relationships. Tune in Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. as we unravel the secrets of truly meaningful connections. Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, where every episode is one step closer to you, understanding the heart and soul of experiencing meaningful relationships. I am your host, Champ Frank, and we are out. Ow! Thanks, Dorian. Appreciate you, man.
Love you, brother.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.